Hey, what's up, guys? It's Leonard here, and welcome to day 17 of the 30-day email breakdown challenge. So, today we are breaking down one of the emails from Kevin Rogers, who is one of my mentors in Copy Chief. I have do a little bit intro about him in the previous breakdown, so I will skip that for this. And if you'd like to check him out or learn more about him, you can go down to copychief.com and check it out. His work is pretty amazing work. Copy Chief community, which is a community which connects business owners and copywriters in that group. Yeah, so I'm inside too. So if you were to go inside, just say hello, yep, and tag me. So whatsoever, yep. So without further ado, let's dive into the email breakdown challenge today. So the subject line: is a client failing you? How to know and what to do? So immediately, right, if you are his target audience like me, you will say, or you will say something like, what, how do you know that? So I want to know how to know if my client is failing me or not. So that is a very powerful element. This is a very powerful technique he used here, which is to understand your customers, your readers problems. So uh people, right, like experts, like copywriting experts or marketing experts, they always say that you must understand your clients, your customers pain points, problems, desires, frustrations. So why they keep saying this? Okay, so they are right that these are important, but they didn't state why you should, how why you should know and how you should implement. And this subject line perfectly teaches you how you can implement those research that you have done on your target audience on your email, which is having subject line like this, understanding them and make them feel like, wait, what, how do you know? Yeah, so this is the effect that we are trying to make them. This is the question that we are trying to make them think about when they read subject line like this. So I'll say this is a pretty good subject line. Yeah, so hi Leonard, tell me if this rings a bell. You kick royal ass on a project for a client, you get paid on time, great. You get a virtual high five for your excellent work, cool. And a friendly see you on the next one to close out the deal. Okay, nice, feels good. Everything went well. On on with you go with another happy client in the queue. So he's by saying this, tell me if it rings a bell. This is out of the types of, so if you have been following my work or for until now, right, you have realized, you should realize that I I've been always stating at the front what type of story am I breaking down, so that it makes it clear to you from the start what kind of story is that, so that you can implement the framework by yourself using those type of stories and the frameworks. So here, right, he's not talking about the types of stories that I've been talking about, which is so some of the examples of the type of story I've been talking about is like story from your past, creation story, personal story, historical story. So these are the story type of stories that I learned from Chris Ozichowski. So, and the thing he's doing here, right, is out of those range of type of story that I've been talking about. So, and what he's doing here is he's letting the readers imagine a personal story, so a personal scene that they have experienced before. But here, right, Kevin, he don't know what exactly about like the details about his client, his audience, the reader. So what he can say is a very generic one, but it's very specific in a way that it 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 arrows the pain points. Yeah, so even though he didn't use specific terms like names like maybe John, the client maybe John, for John, maybe he's not saying you kick royal ass on a project for John, but he's saying but the point is there, the main idea is there, the pain points that he's targeting is there. So whatever the name of the client doesn't matter right there, really. Yeah, so because he's hitting all the problems and pinpoints. So he's letting the reader imagine a personal story for themselves that they have experienced before, and then he put up the required content but summarize it to make it short and sweet. So he didn't talk so much about it because he knows that he need this context, but it's not necessary to be very detailed here. Yeah, so then a few months later, you see this same client posting that they are looking for a copywriter for a new project. So Tired say, "What the fuck?" So you are like, "Oh, hello, you have a copywriter. Remember, we did a thing. You love the work, and you say we will do it together. We'll do it again." So so now you are in a awkward spot of deciding whether you chuck this up to an entrepreneurial brain fart or reach out with a friendly reminder of your recent love affair. So it's using some interesting elements in it, uh, and then or do you assume they remember you just fine but are choosing to go a different way this time, or worse, they decided they decidedly do not want to work with you again and were lying about liking your work the first time. So he obviously he's knowing his target audience very very well, and he know how what they're experiencing and how they are feeling right there. And this also shows the problem that they are facing right here, but this problem is not very obvious. So that's why he had the second sentence. I mean, he had the next sentence to dig out, to surface out the main point of that problem, and that's also called agitating the problem right here. So Terry Petty claimed the waiting is the hardest part, but for freelancers in this spot, it's the fading. So transition to giving the context to for the subject line. Yep. So the subject line talk about fading, and then he successfully link it over here. Even though it's a little bit long, but what he did in fact is very very well in attracting them, pull them into reading his copy because it all relates to their pain problems. So if you are struggling to balance a long copy and like giving too much, if you're thinking that if you're doing too much, like writing too much before you go to the main point, just think about this point. Are you talking about their problems? Because people always care about their problems. They don't mind people talking about their problems and giving them tips on it. So as long as you are talking about them, they'll keep reading until you talk about the main point. So after that, he came to the main point, and then he agitated it by concluding the above symptoms. So here, right, is all the symptoms, and here, right here in this one sentence, he's concluding the entire symptoms into one fact, which is the fading. And fading is when you are not quite being ghost, but being ghost because there was no active negotiation, but there was an implied and assumed future negotiation, and now the person is clearly moving on without you. Sucks mostly. Sucks mostly because you are left to wonder what the fuck, why the fading. So how do you stop this from happening? So he's giving the solution right here. He's after he agitate, right, then he's giving the solution right here. It comes down to becoming indispensable to your client. I love that simple definition. Absolutely necessary. So he's transitioning. So from his problem, he transit to giving more context to the subject line, and then he transit to the agitating part, and then after agitating, he's transitioning to the solution. But one of the things he's doing very differently is he's not combining solution and his product together. He separate it out together, or like he's separating solution and his product, which is one of the good thing because he's indirectly telling the audience that there are many many solutions out there, but this is one of them. So he's kind of like not he's avoiding the hard sell here, but just reminding them that my product is one of the solution. So let's continue to see. So imagine your clients in a financial planning meeting. The CEO says, "Okay, what is absolutely necessary for us to grow our business?" Well, one voice quickly says, "Leonard is one thing for sure. Without them providing X, we will be losing X fast." How great is that? Compared to being way down on the list or not even considered on the list, So this he's doing future pacing here by making the reader imagine after he got the product, but he haven't said the product yet. Yeah, so he's using a pre-frame right here in order to get them in a state of mind that saying, so this is what this is what this is what it feels like when this problem is solved, is successfully removed from my life. Yeah, so if you can't immediately fill in the export in that statement, the thing you provide of indispensable value that brings your client a measurable reward, then you don't yet have git security. So he's using an if then statement to stating, so this if then statement, right, is very common in the copywriting world. This is very common, but it's not really overused because it's effective in saying if you don't, then you don't. If you do, then you will get this. So it's very simple and straight to the point. So after future pacing, he used the if then statement. Then okay, so he started to transit to his product right here. So my friend Kessel Stantel gave a killer training yesterday in Copy Chief on how to become so valuable to your client. They consider your service a total no-brainer. So even when you are charging top dollar, it's called no-brainer 90-day retainers, and it's available now to members of Copy Chief. If you are not yet a member, good time to use your 30-day no-risk trial and scope out this training. Fits perfectly into my mission to end freelancers' frustration and fading. I will look for you there, Kevin. Okay, so he's, as I said, right, he's the entire near closer to the end of the email, right? He's giving a solution, and he's telling them there's thousands and one way to solve this problem. There's thousand and one solutions to solve that problem, but he's giving the generic solution here. And then okay, let me rephrase this. There's thousand and one product to solve this one solution, but he's just stating one of the problems, which is this no-brainer 30-day 90-day retainers training in Copy Chief. Yep. So it's just like saying there's a lot of ways, but this is one of them. Yep. I believe I've said this before in previous breakdowns. If you have been if you have been following my work, you should know this. So one of the so the framework he used here, right, is by talking about the imaginary personal story, where he talk about tell me if this rings a bell. Then he's talk about the problems that uh, his readers have. This is kind of like walking through the reader's life with them. Yeah. So and then he transit to the problem. So this is the life, the normal life where nothing cock ups, and this is the problem right here where the client is just the client is fading you, and then here they didn't really say that it's fading, but here they said it's fading because is agitating, is digging out the main point from the entire story up here. Yeah, because sometimes people don't really catch the main point right here, so that it's important to state it again, so to agitate their problem. And then he go on to solution and then offer. So realize that he split it up into two parts. Normally people will do normally marketers or copywriters, they'll do problem, agitate, and solution. Solution will normally be the offer. So what he's doing here is offer solution then offer. Yeah, which is totally fine too. Yeah, you can try this out. So two things good about this email is an awesome future pacing right here. No, it's not here. Yep, right here. Imagine your so this is a very contrary from the problem right here. So the problem right here, he's talking about like he's very he's making them fear that their client is failing them, or he's targeting he's throwing the fact into their face. Yeah, and then here, right, he's talking about the success in a very positive way. Yeah, so is this two very contrary idea that makes the future pacing seems very good, very nice. It's like saying the grass on the other side is greener. Yeah. So I love the future pacing here, and he definitely knows his audience well. As I have said earlier, he really knows the problem, the pain points, and frustrations. So instead of just knowing, right, he also know how to implement those research into this email, which is what I love about it. So if you like to read this PDF again, just download it down at the just by clicking the link down at the description below, and then you can just download this whole PDF and uh, see for yourself slowly or step by step how he blend in these problems into his email, problems of his readers in this email. And one area of improvement is by having more rhyme by mixing short and long sentences. So for example, maybe he can make some space here and then makes like put his bottom like reparagraph this to another paragraph and this as well. So this create a little bit gap there, so it's easier for the reader to read. So for example here also, maybe you can put some ellipses. Maybe it's because of his voice that causes him to be to make his what they call Catalans. I'm not sure how to pronounce this, but it's what they call is Catalans. It means the length of the sentence. Yeah. So if you were to search, right, I think the word is cadence. So it refers to the length of the sentence. So it might be because of his brand or voice that causes him to have such a length or sentence length or mixture of sentence. But I still think that he should mix around with the short and long sentences to make it feel to make their to let his reader read it more easier. Yeah. Okay, so that's one of my my feedback for his email breakdown right here. So if you have any comments about any part of this breakdown, just leave it down in the comment section below. If not, you can get this PDF at the link down at the description below. And as usual, if you like this, give me a thumbs up, and if not, just subscribe to my channel so you get notified when the next video is uploaded. See you later. Later here.